Today's video sponsors are by Filoso Barber brand, some of the sharpest razor blades out in the market right now. I'm gonna leave a link down in the description for y'all, so feel free to check them out. What's going on, Faded Culture? It's Sergio Barron, and we're back again with another tutorial. Today, I'm gonna run y'all down my step-by-step process on doing a skin ball fade on my boy Albert here, who is in dire need of a haircut, as y'all can see. On our previous video last week, I got a comment talking about if I could do a skin fade without having to use an electric shaver for some of you who may not have access to one. So I will be doing just that using our today's sponsored barber blades by Filoso, just so I can show you how sharp and effective they are when it comes to doing any type of shave. So with that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial, and let's jump right into it. So for the top length of his hair, I will be running a number 5 guard with the lever closed, so that's a true number 5. And we're gonna run this clipper guard over the top length numerous times, running the clipper against the grain until we get a smooth, even surface all throughout the top. And next, before I set in my guidelines, I'm gonna debulk a lot of this hair you see right here with the number 2 guard. And that's just so that there's not so much excess hair in the way, and that it's just that much easier to see our guidelines when they're being laid down. Make sure you don't blend up too much into the top length of his hair. So right about where you see the head start to round out or curve into the top of his head, that's where you're gonna take the clipper up to and pull away. And next, I'm gonna grab the number 8 guard, still with that lever closed, just so that we can trim his facial hair as well. And next, we'll just blow dry everything out of the way so we can start laying in our guidelines. And I'm gonna lay down my first guideline, starting here at the temple peak area with the clipper lever closed with no guard. And I'm gonna make sure that that first initial line slants as we reach the back of his head, just so that it contours his head as well. Make sure this first guideline is laid down as clean and straight as possible, since the rest of the haircut is gonna run according to this first guideline. And so once it's all laid down, you're gonna wanna make sure it's even from the back side and the front side as well before you move forward to laying down your next guideline. For the next guideline, I'm gonna open the lever and lay down my second guideline, coming up about a ½ inch or about a finger in length above the first initial guideline. And all you gotta do is just make sure that that second guideline runs parallel to that previous guideline that we laid down. Moving forward, I'm gonna grab my number 1 guard, still with that lever open to lay down our next guideline. Again, coming up about a finger in length or a ½ inch, and we're gonna run this next guideline parallel to the previous 2 guidelines that we laid down. Next, I'm gonna grab the number 2 guard, still with that lever open, and I'm gonna blend up a little bit higher. Just be careful not to go up too high with this or up into the top length. Make sure you start pulling outwards and just kind of trying to blend the side length to the top length. Then we're gonna grab the 3½ or the 3 with the lever open, and again, you see here where the head starts to round out. We're basically just gonna scope the side length of his hair onto the top of his head. And also guys, all these steps are down in the description in written format in case y'all like to check them out, as well as with all the tools and links to all the tools that we use in our videos. And as you see, now that we've blended the side length to the top length in a smooth manner, now we're left here with these 3 guidelines. We're gonna start by removing the uppermost guideline that you see on top and just work our way down. For this one, I'm gonna use the 1½ clip. Open the lever to about 3/4, and that's just the lever all the way open, and then just close it a tad bit. And we're gonna start blending out that top guideline, a little small section at a time until it gets taken out completely. And when I say that 3/4 position, for me, I feel like that position kind of takes out most guidelines for me. But in some cases, like this one you see in the back, you see that I still use that 3/4 position here to take out most of the guideline. But then you're gonna notice that it kind of still leaves a little dark area right above it. So all I'm gonna do is open the lever all the way just to finish taking out that dark area right above it. But as soon as I'm done with this area, I'll just continue by closing my lever back to the 3/4 position and then just continue my way around the head to taking out that top guideline. So you'll notice that I have to do this process through only the back side of his head, since the back side of his head is a little more dense and has more hair, so to speak. So again, you see I open the lever all the way and just to finish taking out that top guideline. And then once it's completely taken out, like I said, I'm gonna just close the lever back to that 3/4 position and then continue with blending out the initial start of that top guideline. So once you're done blending out that top guideline from the back side, we'll move forward by closing it back to that 3/4 position to finish taking it out on the right side of his head. Next, we're gonna start removing this middle guideline that you see here. For this, I'm gonna use the half clip, leave that lever open to that 3/4 position to start blending out this initial start of this guideline. You'll notice that this lever position and this guard won't completely take out this guideline. It might leave a little dark area right above it, but don't try to chase it with this guard because you will end up taking the fade up too high. So we'll come back in a little bit with another guard, a higher guard, the number 1 guard, to finish taking out that guideline completely. And I want to apologize in advance, guys, because my camera did stop recording the part where I finished blending out this middle guideline with the 1 guard open to that 3/4 position. So just keep that in mind. To finish taking out this middle guideline, after this guard, you're only going to want to throw on that 1 guard and keep that lever on that 3/4 position to finish taking it out. So again, guys, I'm sorry, but for some reason my camera skipped from this step, or it skipped the part where I'm blending out the top part of this middle guideline, and it jumped all the way into where I'm blending out the last guideline that you see here. So here you see that it's mostly all blended out already, but I was able to capture it, and I'm still able to show you how I blend out the last guideline on the left side of his head. So for this, all you need is 3 lever positions. Here you see that I start attacking it with the clipper lever closed to take out the initial start of this first guideline before we open the lever halfway to continue blending it out. So like I said, guys, I'm gonna open the lever halfway next and just continue blending up a tad bit higher. And then last, I'm gonna open the lever all the way to finish blending out this last guideline completely. So just remember that, guys. You start with the clipper lever closed, then you open it halfway, and then you open it all the way, gradually moving up a tad bit at a time until you blend out that last guideline completely. And that leaves all your guidelines blended out. And next, I'm gonna come with my trimmers upside down and start pushing down on the top part of the bottom hair. The reason I come with them upside down is because with this position, it tends to get that much balder to the scalp. And that way, when we shave the bottom hair, it's feathered in nice without leaving a sharp line behind. And keep in mind that doing this will leave a little faint line right above it. So all you're gonna do to take that out is flip the clipper or the trimmer right back over to its upright position and then just blend that little faint line right out. And next, I'm gonna blend in his beard, and I'm gonna set my first guideline right about the middle of his ear, and I'm gonna come in with the clipper lever closed using the same guideline technique that we used on his fade. So next I'm gonna open the lever all the way to lay down my second guideline, coming down about a ½ inch. Then we'll grab the number 1 guard still with that lever open and then lay down our next guideline, coming down a tad bit lower. And next I'm gonna come in with the 1 guard open to that 3rd quarter position and blend down that bottom guideline that you see we left. These guidelines are easier to take out since the hair in this area is not so dense. So once that guideline is out, next I'm gonna grab the half clip open to that 3rd quarter position still to take out that middle guideline that you see here. And then last, for that last guideline, I'm gonna close the lever with no guard to start blending it in. Then I'll open the lever halfway to finish tying in the side to the beard. Then we'll just repeat the exact same process on the opposite side as well before moving forward to his edge up. For his front hairline, I'm gonna use some of this Pump It Up spritz, and I'm gonna just get a few sprays onto the front hairline, and then I'm gonna just blow dry it down with the brush and a blow dryer so that it freezes the hair and locks it in place before we come in with our trimmers to lay down our lineup. And to begin this process, I like to lay down first the sidebars of his lineup, and I like to get them as close as to the natural hairline as possible without having to push them too far back. And then I'll kind of take a step back and then try to figure out and determine where the front middle hairline of the lineup will be. And then once that's set in, you can kind of step back and kind of visualize it, connecting the sidebars to the middle, and then just proceed with connecting them and tying them in together. So just take your time with this process and just try not to dig in your trimmers too hard into the skin so you don't cause any irritations, and just try to get the corners as sharp and as clean as you can possible. Then we'll move forward and start setting in our lines on our facial hair before we come in with our straight razor to sharpen everything up. Be sure you always determine with your client where exactly or how high they want their facial hair to be, as well as how thick they want their mustache to be. It's never a good idea to assume, because everybody's different and everybody has preferences as to how thick of a lineup they want on their facial hair. Next, I'm gonna apply some shaving gel so that we don't irritate the skin when we shave. And I'm gonna throw in my Filoso razor blade onto my straight razor. And before I start shaving, you see that I kind of use my opposite hand to tug on the skin and create tension. That way it helps the blade glide that much easier on the skin without cutting, nicking, or causing any sorts of irritation. And first I'll shave away most of his hair, and then I'll come back and kind of detail the edges, and then I'll also come against the grain to get that much closer to a smooth shave. Next, you're going to want to recline your client, and then I like to brush his hair up. That way we conserve as much of his length as possible, since he wants his hair on his beard to be kind of long, before setting in the lineup on the bottom of his neck. And again, I'm going to apply my shaving gel throughout all the areas that I will be shaving, as well as pulling with the opposite hand, still creating that tension and shaving away all of the hair. It's a good idea to tell your client to pull his lip down when you're shaving the top of his mustache, because it is a kind of difficult area to shave or get in with your straight razor. So having him puff up his upper lip or pull down his lip helps to get a cleaner shave. Then when I'm lining up the side cheek areas, I'll shave all the way up until like right under his eye to get all that peach fuzz. And then I'll determine where I want that lineup to be on his cheek area. And then I'll set in the lines first right here where I want it by the lip area, and then I'll kind of determine where I want it on the sideburn area, and then just follow through with connecting the sideburn area to the lip area of his lineup. Then once that lineup is set, I'll just flip the razor over and shave against the grain to get a cleaner shave on the cheek area. Then we're just gonna follow through and repeat the exact same process on the opposite side of his facial hair. And once you're done with the lineup on his facial hair, I'm gonna move forward with shaving out the bottom of the hair that we left behind on his head. For this, it's a good idea to use a brand new straight razor. And the trick to shaving out the bottom of hair is apply a generous amount of shaving gel. And the idea is to rub it really deep into the skin. That way the gel is not laying on top of the hair. So you're just gonna wanna massage it onto the scalp really good. And you're gonna wanna leave it on for about a minute or so that it gives it time to really soften up the skin, and you're able to do a cleaner shave that way. And again, you're just gonna tug with your opposite hand so that you create that tension, and then just with little small strokes at a time, you'll proceed with shaving out the bottom of the hair. And I will say that this method does not get as close to the skin as the electric shaver does, but this is a great alternative for those who may not have access to an electric shaver or just don't have one at the moment. As you can see, guys, these blades are really sharp and effective when it comes to doing any kind of shave. So again, I'm gonna leave a link down in the description for y'all so y'all can feel free and purchase some if y'all want. But that's pretty much it, guys, for this tutorial. You're just gonna wanna quickly blow dry any loose hair that you might have cut away. And here's a before and here's the after. So I hope y'all guys enjoyed this video on this mid skin fade using a straight razor. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Make sure y'all are subscribed to the channel, and let us know down in the comments what other videos y'all like us to share with y'all. Again, guys, thank y'all for watching. My name is Sergio Barron. This is Faded Culture, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.